वासुदेवाय ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकधामह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवशरी गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। मुखं करोति वाचालं अंगं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपा तमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरु दीनतारिणं। हरे कृष्ण। Actually, today I have another assignment at 5:50 our time. It's not reading the Gita, but we'll discuss couple of aspects and conclude. Dear devotees, yesterday we were discussing about how Arjuna is actually explaining or giving more detailed logic that why he is not fighting. He says, I don't want to incur sin. If I kill all this personality, there's so much sin to be incurred. Rather than I will just stay calm. Dear devotees, actually, this consciousness we see in all of us. For example, if your wife or husband, somebody else is not responding to what you are expecting, you say, that's okay, enough is enough. I will stay away from this. So that's the normal notion, normal reciprocation from any individual. That means things are not going in our way. Things are not going in our way, we say that, oh, can't do this, or I can't take this. There's a general understanding between everyone. Now, it is not that at that particular moment we are seeing that expectation is manifesting that way. But if we closely observe, there's a strong internal reason behind it. Internally, the jiva is always, dear devotees, not now, continuously, the jiva is always have some expectations, which is another state. See, in the spiritual realm also, there's a material realm, spiritual realm. In the spiritual realm also there is an expectation. In the material realm also there is expectation. But both expectations are so different. In the spiritual realm, all the expectations are simply not for their own endeavor. Nobody is actually nobody is working for their endeavor. Please understand. They have expectation, but their endeavors are different. Here, material in this material world, they also have expectation, but their endeavors are different. That means, what is my endeavor? What is the core endeavor behind everything? Remember, we discussed many days back this particular story where the father has been sent to Kashi, and then thinking that the father will learn the science of Krishna consciousness, and then he'll be a perfect person. Because the children were expecting that father will become a better person. He will give importance to spirituality. So the father goes to Kashi, then he comes back for a week. And then the children were asking, what did you learn? What did you see? How did you perceive the place? Father started telling, yeah, this is a wonderful place, very vibrant, very spiritual. Then what do you think? We think that you will retire and practice the process spirituality, because now we've been doing this since many years now. What do you want to do? What's your expectation? He says, my endeavor is this. What is my endeavor? My endeavor is to earn more. That is my endeavor. And how am I earning more? That is another action. His endeavor is one thing. His action is something else. What is that action? Even in Kashi, he is actually seeing through his endeavor. And then through that endeavor, what is he doing? Because his endeavor is to earn, because that's what he did all through his life. A person cannot change just if he goes to a place called Kashi or somewhere else. The person's consciousness will not change. The person's consciousness will remain as is. Through that place, time, place, circumstances, is thinking about how do I make an enhancement. He says, there are so many people dying here. We should do a business where we can sell the wood here. If we sell wood here, we'll get a lot of profits. The children were shocked. No matter where situation or circumstances, the root desire or the endeavor, if that is not changed, it doesn't matter where we are. We might be in Vrindavan also, or we might be anywhere else. We might be sitting next to the pure devotee also. Still, the consciousness will not be changed. Because the root which is there, that is still intact. Just like Parikshit Maharaj gives his example, Sukadeva Goswami. He says, Parikshit Maharaj is asking, how is this conditioned soul is always conditioned? Why doesn't he change? Oh, a very simple answer. He gave a beautiful answer. He says, let's say the entire forest is burnt off. No more trees. Yes, all the entire forest is burnt off. After that, that is natural. Burning of the forest is a natural activity because nobody would go and then lit the fire in the forest. So naturally it is got burnt and then got wiped off. As the roots which are there underneath the earth, they are not yet killed. Then what happens? As the root is there underneath, again the sampling will come. Again within 20, 30 years, the forest will be lush again, back to normal. Because the environment is there. Rainfall is there. Land is there. Everything is there. So the roots which are there, that is the desire of the jiva. As the jiva's desire are not corrected, again the tree is uplifted. So he says one has to correct the root. That means the desires which are there deep inside, they have to be removed. The desire to enjoy this world, the desire to see that I me my thing, that this is what I am. See this I me my thing, I always think about this. How is this I me my thing so important to everyone? And then how do we know that we are giving importance to that? Let's say if a person is telling something to us, we give so much importance to that. Let's say if a person is using some bad language or is putting the other person down. The person who is being put down, he will take that very seriously. Arey, why are you taking so seriously? Because he told me. Arey, he told you only, na. Dear devotees, this is the core primary reason at this particular moment there are no nuclear families. There are no, I'm sorry, there are no joint families. That people don't stay together. They all have nuclear families. That means they just have like father, mother, couple of children. That's it. They do not stay together. Like father-in-law, mother-in-law will not be there, or father, mother will not be there, or brothers, they will not be there. Everyone have their own thing. That's why one person goes to America, one person goes to Germany, one person goes to Bangalore, one person goes to Hyderabad. Father and mother will stay in a village. I'm observing this a lot. Every home where I go, in each and every home, children are settled in America or in Germany or in Australia or in London or in cities like Bangalore or Hyderabad. Nobody is there with them. Now, why this norm is there? Now, a lot of people will say this is advancement. What is this advancement of technology? What is this advancement? They say that this is advancement. No, this is not advancement. What it is, they don't know how to accept the words of the elders. They cannot digest the words of the elders. They cannot give respect to the elders. They cannot accept them. That means if they're saying one thing, they become envious. I was just telling, we were discussing, I just came to Hyderabad. I was just discussing with our parents how important this is, the science of Krishna consciousness. I was telling, since day one, when you came to Krishna consciousness, I was telling this. You go to the temple, do your service, come back. Don't see what's happening there. Who is doing, that person is doing what, this person is doing what, this person is doing what. Is he coming to Mangalarti? She is coming to Mangalarti. Is he chanting his round? Don't see any of those things. You would go there, you do your services, you come back. You come back, you chant your rounds, you do Shravana, that's about it. You don't have to do anything else. Just do your Shravana Kirtana, do your service, that's it, come back. If you do this, in this lifetime, you'll go back home back to Godhead. Because you're devotees, to go back home back to Godhead, you don't have to know so many things. You don't have to get so many things. Or you don't have to open big, big temples. No, you don't have to do any of those things. All you need to do is, you need to have right consciousness. You need to have that conviction. You need to you need to have that deep faith in your heart that Krishna is there. Krishna Mata, Krishna Pita, Krishna Pranadhan. That means what I was discussing at the beginning, I was discussing about a person or a businessman. He is externally he's at a place, but internally his consciousness is something else. Internally his thinking, internally his awareness, internally his way of dealing things is totally different. But externally he is actually in down. Likewise, externally we might have tilak, we might have so many things. We might put shika also, we might put dhoti, so many things. But internally we have fear. What's going to happen to me if I leave my job, or what's going to happen to me if I do this service, or what's going to happen to me if I give some money to the temple. Who will take care of me later on? Now these arrangements, this is actually the conditioning, because the real Krishna consciousness begins when we don't think about us. I was meeting another devotee family today in the morning, and they were taking some decisions in their life. I said, have you discussed with anyone? At least a well-wisher before you took the decision. You don't have to have a spiritual master in your life. Have you at least took their opinion? Nobody is ready to take any opinions with from anyone, dear devotees. Please understand. This is the reason of nuclear families. And nobody wants to stay with their elders. Nobody wants to stay with their father because somehow they feel that they will put us down, or we have to stay under them. It is good. What is the problem to stay under the elders? Nobody wants to stay that. Even in the devotees who are practicing Krishna consciousness. Or forget about America, because there's no elders. It's only us. So we don't learn so much. We learn when we are with people. We don't have people actually. When are the situations and circumstances where we meet people? Very rare. Once on a Saturday or once on a Sunday. That too, what kind of meeting? We say Hare Krishna, they say Hare Krishna, that's how it is done. So where is the scope? This is what I was thinking. And through this, our anartha which are there in the heart, they stay. Second thing is, what happens is, as we are alone, we always think about ourselves. This is the reason why I, me, myself is dominant in this Kali Yuga. In the early days, it was not like that. Do we ever see Pandavas thinking like that? We don't see that. Do we ever see Pandavas staying alone? No, we don't. We don't see. They stayed with their mother. They stayed with their family. All the brothers. They stayed together. Do we see any brother, two brothers? Show me two brothers staying together, dear devotees. Very rare. Very rare. Why? Because there's a conflict of interest now. There's a false ego is rubbed to each other. When the false ego rubbed, what happens? Destruction. There's no construction. Because both the sides think that they are correct. That's why they are fighting now. Iran, Iraq, US. This person wants to show upper hand. That person wants to show some upper hand. Somebody else wants to show upper hand. What is this? It is just dominating. It is just to satisfy each other's false ego. There's nothing more in that. That country wants to show they are good. This country wants to show that we are superior. Some other country wants to show we are superior. This is what is happening in this material world. So when the society is stayed like this, then what happens? Do we see any improvement in the consciousness? We don't see any improvement in the consciousness. Rather, we see degradation in the consciousness. This is actually Kali driving everyone. What are all these wars? This is the effect of Kali. You'll see more. This is bound to happen. This is the age of Kali. Kali means quarrel and age of quarrel and hypocrisy. Kalid dhosha nidhe rajan asti keko. Kalid dhosha nidhe. That means there are unlimited doshas in this world. Asti keko mahan guna. What is that mahan? Kirtanadeva Krishnascha. Glorification of the Lord. How do we glorify the Lord? Through Shravana and Kirtana. When glorification of Lord is happening, that is the only perfection in this life. Otherwise, there is no perfection actually. What is this? What is initiation actually? Initiation is a beginning. It is not like initiation means end. No. They said initiation. They did not say finalization on the day of initiation. They don't say that as finalization. Finalization means it's done. No, it's a beginning. What is initiation? You have to become a better person, human being. Now, from this day on, you should follow four regulative principles. No meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit sex, no gambling. This you need to follow. If you follow this, then you'll become a human being. When you become a human being, then what happens? Then we'll understand the truth. When we understand the truth, what happens? Then we will think in our heart, I'm hearing this truth, but I'm not following. When will I follow? This life or next life? This question should come in the heart. When these questions, I am hearing about submissiveness of Arjuna, when I will be submissive to my superiors, when I will be submissive to Srila Prabhupada, when will I do that? Will that ever happen in this life? These are the questions one should ask. If these questions are not coming, if this submission or submissiveness is not happening, then slowly, the taste to hear the Krishna Katha, the taste to hear or know about Krishna consciousness will be diminished. I was talking to this devotee, he was telling, Prabhu, I begin an endeavor to hear only. I begin hearing. Then what happens is, after some days I'll stop. I don't know what is the reason, where is the problem, but somehow I've been hearing, been practicing since many years now. He doesn't have a, he is initiated, he doesn't have a good relationship with the Vaishnava by sharing his problem, which is quite natural. And then he's telling, Prabhu, somehow I start, but I stop again. I don't know where the problem is. I said the root problem is desire. We do not have good desire. That is the first thing. Desire of what? Desire to practice Krishna consciousness. That is not there. Second thing is, we have desires on material aspects. There's material state, spiritual state. We discussed yesterday also. Material state, that means the desires are dominating in the material state. There are no spiritual desires, which is the first problem. But we have another problem. What is that another problem? First problem is no spiritual desire. Second problem is we have n number of material desires. He has to be good, she has to be good, this has to be done, that has to be done, something else has to be taken care. These are my needs, these are my requirements, this is what I want, this is what I aspire. So many things. Those are the things. Now, the third important aspect is we do not have a relationship. It means in that relationship, we don't hear. If we have a relationship, we hear for the happiness of that person. As we do not have this relationship, we do not hear from that person. When we don't hear from that particular person, then submissiveness will never be established. When submissiveness is never established, then there is no question of hearing, continuing to hear this. So many things. Dear devotees, material nature is very powerful. Don't think that material nature, why people will come for some days and then they will not come to the process of hearing is this because material nature is very powerful. It will not allow. It will say, that's okay, let's sleep. That's okay, let's do this. That's okay, let's do that. So many other priorities, so many important. And sometimes we become, not sometimes, most of the time we become familiar. Same person is speaking. So we become familiar because why? The truth is not giving satisfaction because the truth is not being taken to the heart. As the truth is not taken to the heart, we try to find some other ways and means. That some other ways and means is to become familiar. What is that familiar? Is a weed in Krishna consciousness. And through that familiarity, what happens? We slacken in the process of hearing. And please understand, when we do, I've seen so many, when we lack in hearing, what happens? The kirtana will not be good. I've experienced myself multiple times. When the Shravana is not good, the Kirtana will not come. That means we cannot chant our own. That means we cannot do Smarana. Because what is happening? Shravana is a connecting force. If the connecting force is not good, if the connecting force is not being taken properly. For example, intake of food is not taken. Generally, the body will become weak. Let's say you're supposed to take prasad 2 times a day. You're taking once in 2 days. Intake is not proper or not sufficient. Don't we become weak? We become weak. Why? Because right energy is not been given. Likewise, when Shravana is not been given, then what happens? It will show the effect on the Kirtana. It means Kirtana will not be there. And then the other thing what will come is, we try to find faults with others. We become familiar to the process. When the Kirtana and Shravana is not there, not just this, we become proud also. Proud of what? Oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Actually, nobody can do anything. It is only by the mercy of the Lord. Even Brahmaji also couldn't do anything. Brahmaji was meditating for thousands of years. He couldn't figure out what to do. Somebody has to give him. If somebody has to give him, then only he'll do it. He was going left and right. He was in the Nabi. He was in the navel. On the lotus, on the navel of the Lord, there's a lotus stem which sprouted. And then there's a beautiful lotus flower. On top of that, Brahmaji got created by the Lord. Lord doesn't need anyone else. The jiva in the world, they require female to create someone. And that jiva also, the Shakti which is there in the male person, through that Shakti, the female, there's a child is born. Krishna is telling that the Shakti which you are carrying, that is also I am only. That means here, in the material world, the person requires a female person to have a child. But a lot doesn't require like that. Brahmaji just manifested. That Brahmaji also is the first person. He was figuring it out what to do because everything is pitch dark. And if Jiva like Brahmaji is figuring it out, what to speak of us? but we do something na, some action हो रहा है ना, we are doing some action, but that action is being done through some intelligence, through some knowledge, by knowing through other person, by or by knowing through the computer. Hmm? You're knowing through that only. That means somebody in some shape or form has been given to us. Nobody can do anything here actually. Personalities like Srila Prabhupada, they openly declare that yes, it's all been given by the mercy of my spiritual master, which is absolutely right. There's no fault in that. There's no untruth in that. That is absolute truth actually. Likewise, this is the truth and honesty. When that is manifested, what is happening, dear devotees? Then we see changes or transformation in the heart. Just like Arjuna has seen. Now, Arjuna is speaking all of this subject matter, but he's seeing transformation also in his heart. So what is the transformation? That transformation is I want to become a pure devotee. I want to surrender to the Lord. That is a transformation. And devotees do ask, how do we know or at what point of time we feel to be surrendered? Alright, you'll get to know about it. When you hear sincerely, the heart will respond. The heart will say, yes, this is a moment. Let me do this. Let me take this process to my life and soul. At the time of death, at the time of death, it will not manifest just like that. For example, entire life we did not do anything. Entire life, the life was being used for sense gratification. Do you think that at the end of the life, we'll get an opportunity? No, the opportunity will not come. The opportunities are already given when we are alive, not at the time of death. That means devotees do say about this. Prabhu, this is there now like this. What is that? Yam yam maapi smaran bhavam tajantante kalavaram tam tam evedi kaunteya sada tatva bhavitam. Oh, whatever state of consciousness you carry at the time of death, whatever state of consciousness you carry at the time of death, you get that kind of a body. Oh, this is great. So I'll remember Krishna at the time of death. This is good. You took an endeavor now, not like that businessman. You took an endeavor that at the time of death I will remember the Lord. Now put this question now practically. Let's say if I die tomorrow, ask this question. Let's say if I leave tomorrow, am I in good state to leave all of these things? I'll give an example. Devotees who practice Krishna consciousness also when they are leaving their body, if they did not practice full-fledgedly, what happens? They go through so many difficulties. Naturally, because leaving the body means a difficulty, na? They go through difficulty and then I remember the devotee was sharing that Prabhu, my wife was leaving the body, even though she know about the process, but she was going through so much anxiety because she couldn't leave her body. She was going through difficulties. She was so much stressful. Stressful of what? What's going to happen to her? What's going to happen to her children? What's going to happen to her husband? What's going to happen to whatever I have? She was going through a lot of stress. It all. Why is it like this? Because the knowledge is there. Yam yam vapi smaran bhava. Tajantante kaleva. Shankaracharya reiterated. Bhajagovindam, bhajagovindam. Bhajagovindam mudamate. Samprapti sannihite kale nai nai rakshite dukrin kare. At the time of death, there is this vyakarana, this knowledge will not help. That means only knowledge will not help. The knowledge has to be realized. Do we ever think that we have to work on this? That this knowledge has to become a realized knowledge someday? Do we ever ask this question? Today in the morning, I was hearing from a spiritual master. He's telling very beautifully the body which we have is automatically working. We don't have to do a separate endeavor. Just like we eat, it has been digested automatically. We don't have to put a separate endeavor. Likewise, when the body is being trained up like that, our consciousness is also trained up. Just like this body is trained up. All the parts are working perfectly. The kidneys are working, eyes are working, ears are working, nose is working, mouth is working, everything is working. Everything is perfect arrangement. If we lead a sattvic life, you don't have to go to hospital actually. Everything this has been taken care. Unnecessary things when we do, then only we have to go. If you eat extra, you get cold cough. But the body has to respond. Na? If you don't eat extra, if you eat what you are supposed to, proper says this. Na? If you eat once, if you eat less, you will never be diseased. We will be diseased only when we eat more. Prabhupada always says, we don't see people eating dying who eat less. We see people dying who eat more. Simple logic. That means this body is well trained for that. Likewise, our consciousness is well trained to take Krishna consciousness. The consciousness is readily available. That means it's waiting for this divine truth, absolute truth. Because this is where the soul is getting happiness. But the problem is, people don't care about the happiness of the soul. They say they care about the happiness of this body. That is the biggest problem. Through that problem, what is happening? They think so much about this body. And the body is naturally working. If you drink proper water, if you eat little, you sleep early, everything is taken care. Sleep at the right time on a daily basis. That's it. And then think about Krishna consciousness, do our services. This is what we should aspire. But the problem is we do not aspire for these simple things. The simple living, high thinking conception is actually given by our Acharya Srila Prabhupada so mercifully. But when we miss this and then think about others, that is where the problem is. Hare Krishna. I'll stop here because I have a hard stop. Anyone quickly wants to add anything? A couple minutes. Otherwise, I'll conclude here. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Prabhupada quote is very beautiful today. To serve the servant of Krishna is better than to serve Krishna directly. That is what he did all through his life. Because if the servant of Krishna promises something, the servant of Krishna says, I'll take you to Krishna Loka, you must go there. What is that? The quality of submission. Prabhupada is showing through his life. Grateful for this beautiful association. Because if the servant of Krishna promises something, if the servant of Krishna says, I'll take you to Krishna Loka, you must go there. That means the disciple should have a deep relationship with that servant of Krishna. who are our acharyas in the spiritual mission. Now, how do we develop that? By following their words, putting in acharana. Then that leads to submissiveness, that leads to divine qualities, that leads to free from falsification, and free from false propaganda. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you for the wonderful class on
Hare Krishna
how we
Prabhu.
can, we should not submit to our false ego. We should always take instructions from our leaders. Prabhuji also mentioned about familiarity, how we take things for granted and we start finding faults. How can we stop that, Prabhuji? Like when we interact a lot, and how can we stop observing faults and only focus on the positives of a person?
Actually, we'll discuss in detail next time, but I'll give a synopsis. Let's say if a person is trying to find faults, let's say we ourselves are having that mode of finding faults in others. What should we do is we should think about ourselves first. You remember the first days when we came to Krishna consciousness. The moment I see a devotee, I'm so happy seeing them. We offer obeisances. We say Hare Krishna Prabhu. That day we did not see any of those things. But it is through staying in the process, being in the process for more and more days, taking association for more and more. Then what happens is we tend to see them through our lens. Because in our heart we have some problem. Yeah. It's a problem to everyone. In our heart we have some problem. So we see, just like if you put like red glasses, you see through everything will be seen as red. Because when we begin seeing others, we see through our lens. We don't see through the lens of the acharyas and the spiritual master. So when we see through our lens, then naturally we see problems. And then when we see those problems, we try to think more. Dhyato Vishyapumsa. We meditate on those problems. And then we don't want to take that association anymore. That's also a sign of becoming familiar. Actually, I remember our spiritual master telling the greatest disease in our movement is familiarity. Because no person from outside can trouble us. Our consciousness is only troubling us. Through familiarity only, we don't see much people in Bhagavata. We don't see much people attending morning program because they're familiar. They don't give importance to Mangalarti. That's okay, I'll go once in a month. I'll go for festivals. The program itself is not there. Even if it is there, you see one, two people, very few devotees coming to Mangalarti. And then those few devotees who are coming, they'll be either they'll carry pride, or they will see that nobody is coming and they'll be dejected and then they will stop coming. So we see new people always, but we don't see the people who started. Why? Main problem is familiarity. Through that familiarity only you see the problem, the faults. Through that faults, the process become diluted. Then the truth will, as the process becomes diluted, the truth will also be diluted. And then slowly we don't get much importance or eagerness to continue. And what to speak of having big temples? That's another thing. Any temple, wherever you go, you see new people. You don't see the people who are there in the first. Some devotees will be there who are very sincere. Prabhupada says that see those sincere devotees and then follow the process. That's what we should do. We should find those sincere souls, hear, practice, and then follow. How do we come out of those things? We should change our consciousness. When the consciousness change, what is happening? Lens are changed. I was telling my spiritual master yesterday. I met him yesterday. He was very happy. I told about a practical incident to him. I remember 5 years back you told about this Mataji. She is my mother-in-law and you told about my mother-in-law. Exactly the same thing which you told, I remembered. And when I'm associating since last 5 months, I'm seeing through that lens only. I'm not seeing through my lens. When I see through your lens, I'm very happy. Because you told me. That means they're pure, na? They see good in the others. I'm not pure, I'm impure. But when we begin seeing through those pure souls lens, then what happens? Then you'll exactly see what you're supposed to see. Right? If there's any one small anartha here and there, that will be taken care within a time or two. Just like if we have some anarthas, those will be taken care. We don't have to worry about those things. We have to worry of how we have to see. We don't have to worry what we have. We have to worry what we have to see and how we have to see, with what consciousness I have to see. If that is taken care, then everything else is taken care. That means eventually what happens? Those things will not stay. Anartha, unwanted things will not stay. And we are not worried about unwanted things. We are worried of with what vision we are seeing. When we see through that right vision, then we will not find faults. Then we will not become familiar. And when we are not becoming familiar, then the truth will go. That is when the magic happens. You know the process of compounding? Compounding is magic. If you put some money in a bank, you're not taking the money. And then the bank does compounding. But if you're taking some money out of that, it will not compound. That means the money will not grow. And if you see, for first to 5 years, the money will grow on one level. From 5 years to 7 years, the money will grow in another level because it is compounding. Because the magic begins at that time. Likewise, when you stay in the moment, what happens is you'll experience that absolute truth. Because we are not seeing through our lens. You're seeing through the lens of our spiritual master. When we begin seeing through the lens of my spiritual, I told him, when I begin seeing through your lens, then I'm happy. And he said, this is what you have to do, entire life. We should see through the lens of the spiritual master. When we see through the lens of the spiritual master, what happens is Divya Gyan Hridaya Prakashita. That means the transcendental knowledge will be revealed from there. It's very important. That's why if you see Prabhupada's quote also today, as the servant of Krishna is telling, I'll take you, then we have to go. If the servant of Krishna is telling us to take, if the servant of Krishna is telling us that I will take you, that means if he is telling, that means he's feeling so much relationship to us. He's giving that so much relationship. But if I don't feel that relationship, I will not go. But when I feel that relationship, that means I will go. That means when we develop that relation, what happens is naturally we see through their words. When we see through their words, what is that? We are seeing through the words of the Lord. Because they are pure souls, they represent the Lord. See what I'm saying? There's a lot of difference. There's Kanishta, there's Madhyama, there's Uttama. We should have gradations. We discussed the nectar of instruction. Then I stopped nectar of instruction there because the other slokas are a deeper subject matter. I did not go into that. But the first 6, 7 slokas are good enough for us. To what? To not become familiar and to see good, to see through the lens of the Acharyas. Prabhupada, when he came to America, so many problems. He's not seeing all of that. Because he's a special vision. He's seeing through the vision of his spiritual master. What is the vision of his spiritual master? To establish Krishna consciousness to the English speaking audience. That is what he's seeing. When he's seeing that, he'll not see something else. Because he knows conditioning means what? Material world means conditioning. Conditioning means what? Problem. Today in the morning, my mother was sharing. Was another Mataji was sharing to her, telling the society is so degraded that in the cities like Hyderabad, everyone is going through live-in relationships. My mother is telling this. It's not I. She's telling. Telling that everyone is going through live-in relationships. That means what is that? Exactly the culture which is there in America. That means if there is a compatibility, physical, mental compatibility is there, then they get married. If there is no physical, mental compatibility, they don't get married. This is the culture of dogs, right? If the dog likes she dog, then she will do. Then she will do sense gratification. If the dog doesn't like the she dog, she'll go to some other dog to do sense gratification. That means the doggish life is established here. And she's telling, thanks to Srila Prabhupada, thanks to wonderful pure souls, thanks to his followers, we are free from that. That's what she said. We're free from that. Next life we might be pure devotees, but this life we are free from that. That means that unwanted thing is taken away. That is enough now for us. It is great for us. That means what is she doing? She is remembering the words of the acharyas. That's what she does. Every day she does shravana. I've never seen her missing shravana, doing her chanting. Even when she's sick, she'll chant over. Even when she's sick, she'll hear. I've never seen in past 10, 12 years, never seen her missing one day. I could hardly count her missing in the last 12 years Mangalarti. I could count it. Alright. So I will stop here to join. Is that okay, Mamshi Prabhu?
Yes,
Making sense?
Prabhuji, thank you so much.
Thank you. Oh, Krishna. Thank you all very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. If I spoke
Sure.
anything or caused an inconvenience, please excuse me. Hare Krishna. Thank you.